Greetings, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I like a mirror maze to go through, and I was thinking of that is what's going to show, like, how you're getting in to this reality. Like, because it's showing Darryl's reflection in the prism thing behind him.
What are you asking?
Okay. So there's a mirror maze, and there's a bee with a wing in half, and I was thinking, what is a bee? And I was going through it, and then I was thinking, a bee should be able to fly, and it started to fly. How can I use the mirror maze and to, like, choose probabilities? And
Well, what kind of a state of being did you experience when you had those perceptions? How did it allow you to feel?
calm and trippy?
All right, well, then it's showing you that that's the state of being to come from in all endeavors in your life. Come from that centered state. It's showing you to get you to remember that existence is, even though we talked about the idea of positive and negative and neutral, is actually very slightly bent in the positive direction, because a neutral state allows you the opportunity to choose what you prefer. So even if you just let go and flow into the current of existence in a neutral state, the current will slowly carry you in the positive direction. So it's showing you how to use the neutral state in a way that will help carry you in the positive direction for yourself. So come from that balanced state, that calm state, that peaceful state, that neutral state in all things that you choose to do in life. And if you just go with the flow, it will carry you where you need to be carried. Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
You mentioned a psychedelic stronger than DMT. I was wondering what that was.
Well, there are many different kinds of ways to use the teachers of the earth. DMT can be used in a soft way, a gentle way, or a very powerful way. It has a lot to do with your state of being. It has a lot to do with the specific dosage. It has a lot to do with the way in which you might actually take it in. Of course, there are such things also as what you call ayahuasca and many other kinds of teachers on the earth that can take you on vast journeys into yourself. Again, it's just about what you're attracted to use, but by all means, if you should choose to join such a teacher, please remember that, like we just said, the teacher's fundamental job is to familiarize you with certain states of being so that ultimately you can just create those states of being yourself and no longer need the teacher to do it for you. Yes?
Yes.
So whatever you're attracted to is what will work most strongly for you at the moment, as long as you remember that at some point it's really teaching you how to create that state for yourself. It doesn't have to feel the same. You just have to know that every time you remember having been in the state, you're actually in the state again. Even if it doesn't feel the same, you're in the state you need to be in that is correct for the you happen to be at that moment. In fact, as we have sometimes said, the trick of that is, if you can remember having been in that state, you actually already have to be in the state to even have the memory of being in the state. Because you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of. So you would never have the ability to remember a state if you weren't already in that state. That's the trick. Does that help?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I have one question for you.
Yes?
Why don't humans get heart cancer?
Why don't humans get heart cancer?
Yes, sir.
Is the question that he asked. Because as we will discuss tomorrow evening of your time in the Triad Mind transmission, the heart is receiving a direct flow of energy from the higher mind in a certain frequency that does not permit such things to exist. Now, there can be obviously what you would call heart disease, But that is for a different reason, and we will go into this more deeply tomorrow night of your time.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
All right. Thank you. You could say, we will get to the heart of the matter.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have 3 questions. The first one is, as a child, I saw this being in my grandmother's basement in the dark, and I didn't speak to it, didn't speak to me, but I was drawn down there, and I looked at it, and it was a being in a lotus position with a tremendous blue light around it, the kind of blue you see in the stove.
Yes.
Who was that, and what was that?
All of you have different kinds of guides. You understand this?
Yes.
You were given an opportunity to see one of your spirit guides. That was there for you, letting you know that that guide is always there for you. And the energy reflected in the blue light, again, is representative of a state of being, so that every time you remember that blue light, you're in the appropriate state of being that represents your best ability to move through life in a creative and joyful and constructive and positive way. So it's acting like a beacon, like a lantern, in a sense, by remembering that light. Yes?
Yes.
It attempted to imprint that in your mind so you would always have a reference for that energy, for that state of being. And so, what else?
So, years later, I was in the desert with a guide or a teacher. It was my first time, and we got lost.
Lost in the desert.
Yes, lost in the desert. And she was experiencing the death of her daughter, and I was just following her, and I realized that we were lost.
Yes.
And I had no idea where we were.
Sometimes that's a good thing. It breaks you from all assumptions and expectations of where you think you need to be and allows you to truly improvise and use where you are in the strongest possible way. Sometimes you have to get lost to really find yourself.
And what happened was that this feeling came over me,
Yes.
and out of my life said, the all,
Yes.
the all,
Yes.
the all.
Yes.
And we went back to our camp, and it's like my life expanded and merged with everything without any guidelines or intellectual. We went right back to my camp.
Yes. Like I said, sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself.
And my last question is, I feel I'm on the verge of breaking through.
To what? More of yourself?
More of myself. Exactly.
Are you acting on your highest passion every moment that you can to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome? Yes, no, maybe? No. Hesitation usually means no.
Yes. No.
All right. So the next logical question is, why not?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
Yes. No.
What is the resistance to being your true self? You sense that a breakthrough is about to happen. The key to unlocking that breakthrough is that formula we just gave you. If you always choose to know that what is your highest passion at any moment, what contains the most excitement more than any other option, is a vibrational reflection of your true frequency, and you act on it to the best that you're able to, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further, and you do that with absolutely no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome is supposed to look like, you are actually using the instruction manual for how reality works. And when you do it that way and follow that formula, you will see your life will unfold and open up in a very, very magical way. You will allow the breakthroughs that need to happen to come to you in an effortless way. You will see that synchronicity will expand and increase in your life and show you exactly what you need to do, in what order you need to do it, and when and how. And all the tools of the kit of excitement and passion will unfold before you so that you can flow through life along the path of least resistance and discover whatever may be still within your unconscious mind that is out of alignment with your excitement, so that you can identify it and let it go and add that energy to your excitement. And that process will leave absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, relevant out of your life.
Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you. Now get lost so that you can find yourself again.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Awesome, awesome.
Before you continue,
Sir.
the epilogue to the last conversation is to remember that this is the reason you created the experience of physical reality, so that you could forget who you are, so that in forgetting who you are, becoming lost, you can remember who you are from a new point of view. You can discover something about yourself you couldn't without forgetting who you are. Getting lost is what allows you to discover yourself again from a new perspective. You do it all the time. It's the nature of your physical experience. It's the nature of your physical process. Do continue.
Thank you. Let's see, hey, Bashar.
Speak up.
Thank you, sir. We've been taking pictures in the morning of the sun coming up, and we have been seeing planetary objects.
Speak up.
We have been seeing planetary objects by taking film in the morning, and I was wondering, what are we seeing?
Can you describe what you're seeing more specifically?
Well, they look like large colored orbs that move around the sun, and they can be obscured by clouds, so we know that they're not lens flare.
Well, there are many, many, many different kinds of reasons for the existence of what you generally refer to on your planet as the orbs. The orbs can be a somewhat energetically physicalized representation of an extra-dimensional being or a spirit. An orb can be a temporary impression or intrusion from one reality to another that is poking into your reality and manifesting the energy in the form of an orb. It can be a probe from certain high-level technological civilizations that themselves actually are what you would call artificially intelligent. They can be different kinds of energetic phenomenon that exist in nature that you're unfamiliar with at this point. It can be many different things. You have to kind of take them on a case-by-case basis to understand which one you might be looking at any given moment.
As planetary objects, because we're seeing more than at least 7, sometimes 12, different colors, different sizes.
Well, different
letters.
colors simply represent the idea of different energy states. And different sizes can represent many different things. It can represent the level of energy that you're experiencing. It can sometimes actually be representative of a true size in physical dimensions as you understand it. It can also be somewhat misleading sometimes, because sometimes translations from one dimension to another may appear in your reality to be a size that actually has nothing at all to do with the size of that thing in its own reality. It's just the way it gets translated into yours, sort of like it gets distorted.
Because we can't see with our naked eyes, but we definitely see it on the film. Could it be like
Yes.
reflection off like a glass dome? Is there a glass dome?
Your films are sometimes very sensitive to frequencies that your eyes can't see yet. But as you expand your consciousness, more and more of you are beginning to be able to actually use your senses to see the orbs with your eyes. In actual fact, of course, you're seeing them with your brain, but you get the point.
Of planetary size, because they're larger than the sun sometimes.
That is an illusion.
That's an illusion, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, on the dome question, that's it. But I want to say thank you for the imagination. I've actually changed my whole life.
Well, thank you for changing your life.
Yeah, just based on the imagination principle.
Yes.
It's all imagination.
Well, it is, yes.
And the neutral position actually allows you to be able to make the cake the way you want to.
Imagine that.
I know. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much, Bashar. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Next time.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
This is going to sound weird, but I be getting this dragon, my dreams.
Yes.
I feel like I cross his reality and he doesn't mind. we go for rides, and he takes me on these crystal caves and
All right.
falls, and
Yes, yes, yes.
I just, for some reason, I want it to be real. I don't want my.
It is real.
It is.
In another dimension.
Okay.
It's not physical in your dimension. It's real in another dimension. It's as real to them in their dimension as your physical reality is to you. But of course, remember that your physical reality isn't real. So what's the difference?
Okay, so I'm not making this up in my head, and so
The experience is the only thing that needs to be real. What you get out of the experience is the true reality. The symbols that are used, that is simply what needs to happen, because that's what will work for you to give you the experience that you need, so you will have the information you need to move forward in your life in the way that works best for you. It's all real in some context. You can't imagine non-reality. That doesn't necessarily mean it's physically real, but that doesn't mean it's not real in its own context, in its own reality, in its own dimension. There's a wide range of concepts that are contained in the word real. But you can always bring it down to, what was the experience? What did you get out of it? What did you learn? How did it feel? That's the reality that's important to focus on. Because that's why it happened. To give you that experience, to give you the information, to give you the lessons you learned about yourself in that experience. So it's not really about focusing on, was it really real?